G'day guys, welcome back to the channel, and I hope you all had a really good New Year's celebration and a really good Christmas. And basically I'm just going to kick this off by doing a little bit of a walk around and discussing what's happening on the coupe, and also what I've got planned for the sedan and other things. So as far as the coupe goes, we did basically all the fit up that we needed to do, and we've removed the engine and box out. And now I've just got to wait till everyone sort of gets back to work so I can get some questions answered. Just a couple little questions regarding clearances and whatnot on this front end before I go ahead and weld it in. And in order to weld it in, I'm going to need to put it on the rotisserie, plus some of the other jobs that I need to do with the floor and areas in the boot area. So yeah, so my focus is now switched over to the sedan, XA sedan. And any of you that watched previous updates would know that this was in a pretty sad state. So what I've done, I've got the passenger side, all the rust repairs done, except for the boot floor on that side. Then we've got the boot seal surround, which all has to be replaced, and also the tail light panel is going to get replaced. And as you can see, I've already started done the rust repair on the outside, and I won't show too much of that because we've got time lapse of that work getting done and the wheel arches and that. But yeah, you can sort of see previous work and some of the style of welding and whatnot. So, and I also cut out the wheel arch here, and yeah, pretty happy I cut it out. Yeah. Pretty interesting work, but not to say that my work's perfect, but let's just say I'm glad that I'm cutting this stuff out and I'm getting something a little bit better put in. So just going to carry on. We've got a little bit of time lapse, as I say, of the wheel arch and the lower quarter getting done, and yeah, we'll just kick on with that and hope you enjoy it. So I have a bit of a hold up on the XB coupe, so I thought I'd just jump over to the sedan and catch up on a few things. So over the last week or so, I've just put the inner and outer sill in on the driver's side. I fixed the A pillar and the B pillar, which were totally rusted out on the bottoms, and then fixed up that what do you call it, the C pillar, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, fixed up that little bit there, and yeah, so we're just carrying on with the outer wheel arch, which, as you might have guessed, is off a front guard. I had a very rusty front guard, but usually even with rusty front guards the wheel arches are okay. So this is the wheel arch off a driver's side front guard, and you find that if you put it on the driver's side rear, that it's a pretty close fit. So the only part is when it gets to that part where the bottom of the quarter panel patch goes in, that's where the radius slightly changes. So if you cut it off there, just around about where your rear spares patch is going to go, you're pretty right. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and get some primer on this, and then we'll go ahead and fit her up. So, quick explanation of what I'm up to. I actually switched the camera off because I didn't really know what I was going to do. Every time I do one of these things, lower quarters that is, I never seem to, I always seem to do it a bit differently every single time. So I don't know why, probably too much time in between each one. But this one here, when I first started it, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I thought I won't even bother videoing it. And then I sort of got an idea in my head. To quote Bad Chad, I just did what my brain told me to do. So I figured that what I'd do first is I'd just start putting pie cuts around the top here, because that is, you know, totally wrong. There's so many things wrong about these replacement panels, but you know, I mean, if we didn't have them, then we'd have nothing at all, right? So I put the pie cut around this top radius, well, to give me the radius that I wanted. This part here, it actually sits up proud by 1/2 inch or so, so just put a slice in it here, and then brought that down with the hammer and dolly, and same here. I had to put a couple of cuts in there in order to be able to manipulate the middle, and same back here. Back here it also goes from being in a sort of a valley to then rising up about 1/2 inch, and then it goes into the curvature, which is all totally wrong. So again, I cut the end off here because it was nowhere near the factory one, and then this end one here, I cut it right on the fold of that curve, well, supposedly this curve, but look how far back it is. It's a good 20 mil back from where it's meant to be. So cut that off just to try to make things a little quicker and a little easier, and then basically I can just weld on what I need to weld on once I've got the rest of it fitting right. So there's no problem just adding a little patch in here. And then the other thing I did, once I'd knocked down those two bits that were proud, then I put like a bit of a fold in it with the sheet metal folder, just to get it to sort of line up a bit on that part. Look at all that rust. That's all going, by the way. I'm going to rip all that out. Same with this, I'm going to replace that as well. But this is, I'm leaving everything as it is just to fit up this lower quarter. So where it is now, yeah, looks a bit ugly when you do pie cuts, but look, it's how it finishes up looking. That's the main thing. So that'll get welded and plenished and everything will be fine. So yeah, so now I've got that done, and I think what I'll do is I'll now tack it in place, or cleco it in place, one or the other, and then I'll put a slice straight through here and start tacking it in. So I'm going to basically weld this whole thing up and then remove all the internals and then match the internals to the outside. So in the beginning I'm matching the outside to what's already there, because that gives me a guide, and then once this is in place, then I'll rip all that other stuff out and then match it to this. So, and yeah, obviously what I was doing here is this car had like a really big smack in the corner, and that was like pushed right in. The metal was actually split, and it was all misshapen. And it's not perfect yet, but it's way better than what it was. So this whole corner actually had to be knocked out. So we've got that all lined up. We've straightened this out a little bit. Still got to put a little bit of welding in there where the metal's cracked. But yeah, so I'll just get on with it, weld that in place, and we'll move on. Alright guys, that's it for this episode. Hope you liked it, and if you did, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And just wanted to give a shout out to Con from Pro Street Metalcraft and Jason Mansueto. I saw a post today on Facebook. These guys are heading down to Summernats with a beautiful XW GT. Guys, the car is awesome. It's totally beautiful. I'm sure it's going to do really well, and good luck with it. Anyway, so we'll catch you in the next episode, where we're going to continue on with the sedan and get all these rust repairs finished so we can get it off the rotisserie and get back onto the coupe. So see you next time, guys.